Hi guys, I am so excited to be here today to share my vegan eggnog. I absolutely love this recipe, not only because the ingredients are so wholesome and simple, but it's a really great recipe that you're gonna like if you're vegan or not. It's so creamy, it's full of festive holiday flavors, and it doesn't have any egg, obviously because it's vegan, but personally I think drinking egg is a little bit weird, so even when I wasn't vegan, I way preferred this blend. So the ingredients for this recipe is very simple and straightforward. You're gonna start with some almonds and some cashews and coconut flakes. And you're gonna soak these in advance. I've done it in a little bowl with water. You can soak them for 1 to 2 hours, or you can do it overnight like I have here. As for the spices, we've got some really good festive holiday spices here. We've got a little bit of ground cinnamon, some ground nutmeg, a little bit of salt, and then I'm using dates to sweeten. So I'm gonna start by straining the nuts. So what I have here is my soaked nuts. I wanna take just a normal colander and a bowl. Actually, you can do this over the sink, but I'm just gonna do it over the bowl for this circumstance. And you're just going to strain it and get out all the water that you've soaked it in overnight. So we're just gonna add this to the blender. And now we're gonna put in some fresh water. So I'm gonna take 3 cups of water, pour that into my blender, and then finally we're gonna add some holiday spices. So we have the ground cinnamon, some nutmeg, a little bit of salt. I really like the little bit of salt. Most people wouldn't think to add that, but it really helps enhance flavor, so don't think it's gonna be salty by adding salt. And then finally, I've got 2 dates here. I really like using this dates for sweetener. If you don't have dates, you can also use maple syrup, but I find the dates is a really nice flavor. It's a little bit caramelly and really good in this eggnog. We also want to make sure when we're using the dates that we take out the pits. So if you're using medjool dates, there's often a pit inside, and we don't want to put that in the blender. So make sure that you take that out. Okay, now we're going to blend this all together on high speed for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like when it's blended. I've used a high-speed blender, so I only needed to blend for 1 minute, but if you're using a standard blender, I would say do it for 2 or 3. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna strain this. So we're gonna strain this now because the milk right now has quite a bit of pulp in it, especially from the almonds, and we don't wanna be drinking that. So I have a nut milk bag, which I'm gonna be using to strain the milk. This is what it looks like. It's really cheap. You can buy it on Amazon, and I'll include a link to where you can get it. I think they're about $3. But if you don't have one and you want to make this right now, you can also use a thin tea towel. You want something that you can kind of see through, and that'll work really well. You just kind of bunch it together, make a little bag, and squeeze it that way. But because I have my nut milk bag and I love it, we're gonna be using this. So we're gonna take the milk and we're just gonna pour it through the nut milk bag, like so. And then we're gonna give it a good squeeze, and we're gonna get out as much milk as we can. So as I get close to this being finished and I'm almost done milking it, I'm gonna really move my hand around the nut milk bag and get out as much milk as I can. This stuff is like liquid gold, and you don't wanna be missing any of it. Okay, so we've got our gorgeous milk. You can see it's so creamy. I'm gonna pour this back into my blender now because it just allows for easier pouring. Okay, now we can serve this vegan eggnog. So I'm gonna serve mine in pretty little crystal glasses. It's always fun to kind of fancy it up a little bit for the holidays. I've also put a couple of cinnamon sticks in it. Not necessary, but it adds a little bit of festivity, and also it helps enhance that cinnamon flavor. So if you like the cinnamon, go ahead and do that. If you don't, just leave that out. And we're gonna pour this into our cups. Another thing that you can do if you like to add a little bit of alcohol, let's say it's in the evening and you're into that, you can add a little bit of bourbon to this. Bourbon, brandy, or cognac is really good. You just need a little splash and it adds a really nice flavor and kind of enhances it for adults. But personally, I like it this way without the alcohol, and yeah, cheers.